everyone, it's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. So Bernie Sanders and Tom Perez are going to hop across the globe, or hop across the United States together, in order to try to get people back into the Democratic Party. Look, you already know how I feel about this. I've made several videos kind of making this point. The Sanders is not getting anything for this. He's laundering the image of that party. That party is not going to change. The party has no interest in changing. And there is no evidence to show that that party is changing. The only thing that we know is that Sanders is the most popular senator. We know that Sanders, if he's standing on stage with somebody, he adds a certain level of popularity to that person. It's like he's laundering the image of the person he's standing beside. Or in this point, the party. Somebody asked me one day, they said, why do you think that Sanders is pulling people back into the Democratic Party? And she was pissed. She was being earnest. I think she was being earnest in asking the question. But I was making this point. If Sanders is going across the country, if he's parroting arguments that are from the Democratic Party, whether it's this Russia garbage, whether it's this, putting this information out about Bashar al-Assad. Yes, he did condemn Bashar. But he's been parroting a particular line, and he's been functioning for the most part as a Democrat. Now, this is probably one of the most blatant cases of literally going with the DNC chair from state to state to state in order to convince people to come back to the party. That is, by definition, he's bringing people back into the party. He's literally shepherding people back into that party. This is the Hill. Senator Bernie Sanders and Democratic National Committee Chairman Tom Perez will hold rallies this month across the country in an effort to rally grassroots support for a 50-state party strategy. At a time of massive income inequality and shrinking middle class, we need a government which represents all Americans, not just Wall Street, multinational corporations, and the top 1%. Sanders and Perez said in a joint statement. Beginning April 17th, Sanders and Perez will hit the trail in so-called red and purple states, including Kentucky, Maine, Florida, Utah, Montana, Nevada, Arizona, and Nebraska. Other leaders in the Democratic Party will attend the rallies, where they will speak about issues ranging from minimum wage to criminal justice and immigration reform. I have questions. So, the first question. Is Bernie Sanders the most popular senator in the United States? The answer is yes. Do you believe that the Democratic Party has changed from the time they lost that election to now? Do you think they fundamentally changed? My vote for that is no. I do not think they've changed. Third question. What do you believe Sanders' goal is in going across the country? So if he's going from state to state to state, and he's going hand in hand with Tom Perez. Now Sanders is an independent, but he was given the position of outreach coordinator. Outreach to what end? What is he trying to do? And why does the Democratic Party have Sanders out on all of these shows, side by side with all these members of the party? What do you think he's trying to accomplish? Now, the point I'm making is he's trying to get people back into the party. Literally. It's not hyperbole. That is an objective view of it. If he's an outreach coordinator, he's an outreach coordinator for the Democratic Party. If he's going from state to state to state, he's doing so with Tom Perez and other Democrats. He's laundering their image using his popularity. That's literally bringing people back into the party. So I'm going to say the objective is to put people back into the party. So the fourth question. If the Democratic Party hasn't changed, and if his objective is to get people back into the Democratic Party, is that a productive strategy? And is Sanders getting anything for that strategy. So understand what I'm saying. Sanders has a certain amount of credibility. He's seen as the most honest senator. He's still a politician, but he is seen as the most honest senator. He's loved across the nation. If he's standing on stage with somebody and he's making a point, he's talking about healthcare, he's talking about education, those are issues that Sanders full well believes in. He believes them from gut to bone. Now, do you honestly believe that the Democratic Party believes in those values? They've gotten their back up about Russia. But that's all they've gotten their back up against. When you're looking at situations of them putting out this healthcare bill, they're putting out the college loan thing, that stuff doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They had office for 8 years. Why are you putting this out after you're out of power and you have no capacity whatsoever to do anything about it? Parties, when they're out of power, does stuff like this. They will put bills up. They can be as liberal as they want to be when there is no opportunity whatsoever for those bills to go anywhere. All of this is functioning in the capacity of just laundering the image of the party. It's like, ooh, progressives are popular. All right, let's put out progressive strategies that we know is not going to go anywhere because we have a Republican president, Republican House, Republican Senate, and now a Republican Supreme Court. So tell me, if these bills aren't going to go anywhere, why is he doing it? Why is he doing it? The only reason he would do it, if he's trying to put this out into public consciousness, he's trying to get people to put their eyes on it. And everybody knows at this point, particularly since he's going to be going around the country with one Democrat after the other. If that guy is parroting a particular line, that guy is talking about healthcare, education, he's talking about all these progressive issues. Now, if you agree with me that the party hasn't changed, but Sanders is out there talking about these issues, is it possible that the people who are going to come back to that party are coming back to the party believing that that party has changed in some way because Sanders is on stage with them? Not only do I think that is not far-fetched, I would make the point that that is the point. That's the point. That's the goal. There's a reason why Sanders is out here on all these televisions. There's a reason why the guy who initially in the primaries, they were showing Donald Trump's empty podium as opposed to showing Sanders. But now they would have full-on conversation with Sanders. You can't find a Meet the Press episode without a Sanders in it. That's not a little strange? That's not a little strange? We already know that there's a collusion between media and politics, particularly within regards to the Democratic Party. Now, if we know that they were passing stories back based upon the Podesta emails, if we know that there's machinery going on in the back end in which the ways the parties operate. Look, I was driving home today, and a woman pulls up beside me, and she starts blowing her horn. She's like, And as I look over to her, she's like, yeah. Like I could hear her in the car. I have a Bernie Sanders bumper sticker on my car. She saw the bumper sticker, she responded. She responded in the way that I think most people respond when they deal with Sanders. And there's this kind of, there's a feeling for the guy. I mean, me, personally, I feel a particular way for the guy. I don't necessarily like what he's doing. I feel like he's being a sheep herder. And ultimately, he's defrauding all of these people back into a party that hasn't changed. He's not getting anything for bringing those people back into the party. But that being said, that doesn't necessarily mean that people don't feel a particular way about him. The fact that this woman's reaction is that way shows how people feel about him. Just random. In the street. Oh my God, there's a Sanders bumper sticker. Hey, good job. Good job. That's Bernie Sanders. That woman feels that way. Just from a bumper sticker. How do you think people are going to feel when that guy is on stage and he's standing beside a Chuck Schumer, a Nancy Pelosi, some other corporatist? Does him being on stage add any level of credibility? Does it launder the image of the person he's standing beside? And if it's laundering the image of the person he's standing beside, but if nothing is tangibly taking place with regards to the party itself. Nancy Pelosi has already made the statement that let Trump be Trump. Ultimately, we don't really have to change anything. Trump is going to mess it up so bad that those people will come back to us. We will get another chance to be in power. The question is, who do you want standing there when it's time for them to take power again? And if you have another corporatist standing there, what does that leave you? What does that leave you? And if in some degree that the reason why there's a corporatist standing there is because Sanders has helped bring all these people back into the party, and these people didn't have the political acumen to realize that there was a difference between Sanders and the other Democrats. Most people don't pay attention to politics closely. They're going to see those two quantities on stage, and they're just going to assume that those people are together. And again, he's not getting anything for it. He's not getting anything for it. I'm not casting any dark motives behind it. Nothing like that. I'm making the point that it doesn't really matter his motives. Ultimately, the crux of this conversation is, do you believe the Democratic Party has changed? If you believe that it hasn't changed, do you believe that it's a positive action? Do you believe it's helpful for Sanders to have all of these people going back into that party if you believe that that party hasn't changed? That's the crux of it. However you feel about Sanders is irrelevant at this point. I'm talking about objective reality of what's taking place. Now, you may not put a certain level of heaviness on it in the way that I am. But come on, most progressives at this point don't consider themselves Democrats. They don't. They consider a difference between those things. Meaning, if he's helping people back into the party, is that in line with your objectives in regards to where you want this country to go? It's not in line with mine. It's not in line with mine. So, I can't see myself voting for a Democrat. So for me, I don't necessarily like Sanders bringing people back into that party. But let me know what you think. If you think it's awesome that he's jumping across the country with Tom Perez, let me know. Let me hear it. If you think it sucks, let me hear it. I'm curious about people's perspective on this. Because I've seen it go both ways, if I'm being honest. So let me know. Let me know. If you enjoy the content, feel free to comment. Feel free to share. Feel free to like. And of course, you can support the work on Patreon. Guys, when I do a Sanders thing, anyone who's looked at any of my videos knows how I feel about Sanders. So none of this stuff is ever taken from a negative place. It's always taken from a place of, there's certain things that I want to accomplish. And trying to accomplish those things, is he being helpful to my goals, or is he working against my goals? I think part of the problem in American politics are the parties themselves. I think we need a third party. Under that context, Sanders is a problem. Because ultimately, you have 15 million people who left the Democratic Party and who's open to change, open to something different. If he's bringing those people back into the party, that's just taking you back to square one. That's a problem. So, alright guys, let me know what you think. Have a good one, guys.